Welcome to episode 10 of the I-70 Hot Tag. We have a great show planned tonight. We have a special guest who we've billed as a jack of all trades. He's part of the ring crew for a couple of our local promotions. He's sold merchandise, been on security, and on top of all that, he's training to be a referee. Tonight, we'll chat with Bryan Janascheck. We'll also do a little bracketology and predictions for the St. Louis Anarchy Dingo Invitational, which kicks off night one tomorrow night. Last and certainly not least, we'll preview the stacked CSW Rise of an Outlaw event going on this Saturday night. Stay tuned.
And now, CR Media presents the I-70 Hot Tag with your host, Chaos Chase, and the real Josh Elliott.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media. We are here for episode 10 of the I-70 Hot Tag, just like Josh said. Again, Chase, and to my left or my right, whichever he is on your screen, my co-host, the real Josh Elliott. Josh, how are you doing this evening?
Fantastic, man. How are you doing?
I am doing good, man. Doesn't get much better. So before we get into it, we will break down the usuals here. Again, my name is Chase. You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and the tag is the same on all of it. You can see it right there. CR Media 1988. Guys, I am trying to get to 50 followers on Twitch. So would definitely appreciate it if you would show some love on there. Josh is on social media as well. Josh, why don't you go ahead and run down for the crowd where they can find you on social media, my friend?
Yes, sir. I am at the real Josh Elliott. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. More active, especially wrestling content. I run the I-70 Hot Tag on all social media platforms. Make sure you give us a follow. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and again, the newly added YouTube. Starting to add a few extra content on YouTube, so be sure to give us a follow on there. And then after the shows, if you can't catch us live, we do upload the podcast to all major platforms. You can find us at Google Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor. Usually about 24 hours after we go live. So usually Friday afternoon, Friday evenings is when those episodes are posted. So
there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Dad 1-3, man, appreciate you. I see you got the Sledge horns, my friend. Did you come over from Sledge's Discord? Awesome, dude. Dragon Dad 1-3 is my 50th follower.
All
we
right.
we are slowly but surely on our way to becoming an affiliate on Twitch. That is fantastic, Dragon Dad. I appreciate you. Yes, sir, I did. Fantastic. The Metalhead Maniac Sledge coming through. Appreciate my dude Sledge. Appreciate my dude Scott from Aussie, the land down under, coming through. Got an exciting interview and an exciting show for you guys. So appreciate you tuning in tonight. Here
Absolutely.
we'll have to bring. I'll monitor chat while we kind of break this thing down. But so as you were talking about the I-70 Hot Tag and all the social medias on there, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our guest. Josh, do you want to introduce him?
Yeah, we are going to bring on Bryan Janascheck. to the hot tag. So what's going on, Bryan? Oops, sorry.
How's it going, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Doing pretty well.
How are
out
you,
here.
sir?
Doing good out here in St. Charles, Missouri today.
Oh man, you were there the other night when we were talking, right?
Yeah, work sent me out here for a week, so I'll be heading home tomorrow about 5:00.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say you'll be here for CSW, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic.
Nice, man. So could you want to kind of introduce yourself and kind of what you do for our local promotions?
Absolutely. So I kind of got in it back. NWL folded, and of course, I was a regular there. I loved it. So I was like really bummed, and I looked on Twitter. And all of a sudden, I see I followed St. Louis Anarchy because I knew Matt Jackson ran that. I followed Casey Metro Pro because they're local home promotion. Love Chris Goff, love what they did. Awesome promotion. All of a sudden, St. Louis Anarchy tweet came out that just said, "Is this thing on?" So I was like, "All right, they're going to start back up. Hopefully, Casey Metro Pro will too." Kind of excited for that. So then they announced that they were going to have Circus Maximus 2018 in July. So at the time, I was a photographer at work. Immediately messaged Matt Jackson, said, "Hey, if you need someone to take photos, I'll do it for free. I'll drive out, help with whatever you need." So I went out there. I actually took my son wanted to go, and he's best friends with a couple of local wrestlers. We took Mighty Mike the Hague out there, got some show, helped set up. Good pictures. Little did I know there were other photographers there.
Yeah.
More seasoned than I was at the time. But I took like 1,200 pictures of the show, I think. Gave Matt Jackson the card at the end of the night, said, "Here you go, man." Helped him tear down. Made it back to Kansas City. It was about a 20-hour day. So Matt said thanks, and put me on his website, on the Anarchy website. And I think he uploaded like 90-some pictures. Tagged my name in it, and so I will always push Matt Jackson. I mean, I will always have a debt of gratitude from him just for that. So after that started, and they were running, I think, every 2 months at the time. So they had announced their next show was in September. I was going to go to that. But at the time we were selling our house, Chase, a little bit about this, had to do a lot of work on the house to get it sold.
I do.
Make it so then they announced that they were going to have a show in Kansas City at Kansas Hall. It's like, okay, cool. I messaged him. I said, I'll be there. Helped him set up, took pictures there. That's the night they announced that Journey Pro would be starting. So we started with that. I helped him set up the ring, took more pictures, tear down, told Walter. At the time, it was Walter, Ben Miller, and our
DJ, right?
DJ, yeah. And I told them, if you guys need anything, I'll be here for you. They started running. I started helping them out. Basically, ring crew type stuff and do security if anyone was out of the ring. And I started doing the timekeeping with them. Not every time. I think I split that duty with Rex Amadeus. And
Rex Amadeus, yep.
So he's so we went through that. When the pandemic hit, and then they were running out of the at the coffee shop because Kansas Hall closed. So they ran at Blip Roastery, went and helped them out there. Then they did the show at Lemonade Park, and I was helping set up the ring. And Mike Seidel said, "Hey man, Bryan, you've been doing this for free for a long time. Why don't you get paid for it?" He's like, "Come and train with us." I said, "Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to wrestle. I don't want to take the bumps." And he's like, "No, man." He's like, "You should come ref." So he kind of got me into it and started training out in Olathe. And I'm going to be doing some specific ref training with Journey Pro when they start theirs up. I've been doing a lot of talking with Nick Chen and Adam Kennedy to get that going. So I have some ref training going. It's kind of on pause right now, but once things get started back up, I'll be doing that.
Good,
Nice.
good. Bryan, give me 1 second here. I want to take a moment to recognize a couple people. We've got the Gare Bear, who followed on Twitch. Appreciate you joining in tonight, Gare Bear. And then we've got Black Dog 678. Appreciate you guys coming through. If you guys are still in here, again, appreciate the follows. Would love to hear in the chat where you guys came from, whether you came from a Discord or a post, wherever that may be. Would love to hear that. Appreciate you guys joining in. We're talking about Kansas and Missouri independent professional wrestling, guys. We got Bryan J here, who is a ring crew, timekeeper, and an aspiring referee. He is a jack of all trades. So we're going to be breaking down some wrestling here. Bryan, wanted to ask you, man. So you kind of told us a little bit, about how you became, or you and I kind of talked about like how you became a wrestling fan the other night, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I want to kind of touch on that a little bit, kind of go back to that because, everybody who we've talked to, Josh and myself are in our early 30s, and Jay, who you spoke with, you and I spoke to Jay the other night, Certified Wrestling Podcast.
Right.
And he's in his late 30s. Man, you're pushing 50, brother, man. So tell me how far back the fandom goes.
So this goes back well before me even. So my great grandmother is 100% Native American. Her husband was, I believe, half, maybe 3/4 Native American. So he died early on after they had their kids. He passed away, I want to say 40s. So my great grandmother was working downtown Kansas City as a switchboard operator when they had to plug in everything when you call the switchboard. So she, in the span of a week, lost one of her sons, one of her daughters, and her brother. And it just kind of took a toll on her. And my grandfather had to put her in a nursing home in St. Joe, Missouri. So he would bring her to their house every weekend. And she had never, ever seen a TV before. Because back in those days, she was just of that age. You didn't have a TV, and my grandparents did. I brought her home, and she walks in the door, and they're sitting down talking, and the first thing that pops up on TV is wrestling. So this is, gosh, I want to say this is probably 50s or 60s. And so she's just involved with watching it. It just fascinated her. She loved it. So every weekend she'd come home. If someone walked in and tried to talk to her during wrestling, she's like, "Shush, my wrestling's on." So then later on, my grandparents really weren't into it. My dad was. So my dad would take my mom when they were dating down every Thursday night to Central States Wrestling at Memorial Hall, and they would just have like a date night, and it was run every Thursday. So I was born 75. When I turned 3, my dad took me down there one night, and it just at 3 years old, I beat the crap out of each other, and it was impressive, All I could talk about was wrestling for like a week, and I begged my dad to go every week. So we'd go, not every week, but a couple times a year. So that really got me into wrestling. I used to watch it at home as a kid all the time. And then finally, I get get a job at a mall. Met a friend there. He loved wrestling. My brother loved wrestling. So we'd all meet at his house. Started dating my wife. Fortunately, me and I have keys to the car. So she's come. We were all friends. She'd come over and watch wrestling with us. And so she started liking wrestling. We married in 97. And I watched wrestling. Our son was born in 98. Got a little busy time there. So I took a little bit of time off from watching. Then my son was 8 years old. He was at his friend's house next door, and he said, came back all excited. I said, Kyle, what's going on? Dad, have you ever seen wrestling? And I was like, what? Of course. We started going to like the WWE live events. I started taking him to when it started. We started going down to Casey Metro Pro. So I've been a fan of Casey Metro Pro since. Golf's an awesome guy. So when Casey Metro Pro closed, I just kept up with it. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life.
So who would you say are some of your favorite wrestlers? Not excluding indie. Let's just go from a mainstream perspective.
So mainstream, I was a big fan as a kid. A lot of people don't remember him, but there was a wrestler called the Viking, and he came out with the Viking hat, the horns, and just as a little kid, that's just awesome, right?
Yeah.
So I always loved the Viking. I loved Bulldog Bob Brown. As it progressed in the 80s, I started liking. Oh gosh, Dean Malenko was one of my favorites of the 80s. I love the Von Erichs. Von Erichs were really good. Rock and Roll Express. Who doesn't love Shawn Michaels, right?
Yeah,
Of course.
Just some of those guys were.
nice.
And nowadays it's kind of hard to tell. I don't really watch a whole lot of mainstream wrestling other than AEW. I'll watch the pay-per-views for WWE.
Nice.
Yeah, when we were talking the other night, Brian, I had mentioned to you that my my mother knew the Viking. Because Viking was a mainstay in Kansas City for a long time. So, and they lived in Ruskin, and that's where he stayed at. So, that is very very cool, man. We've seen you post a lot about being good friends with Dak Draper. You wanna tell us the story about how you and Dak became friends?
Well, it's kind of funny. So I'll have to go back just a little bit for this. So my son went to high school in Olathe, and he was a year behind S.K. Bishop, Kenny Alfonso, and Micah Hay. But they were all friends. So I've known these guys since they were soft school. They weren't in wrestling shape. I'm not saying they were out of wrestling shape. They didn't have the muscle they have now. And I do these guys. So, or NWL comes, Micah, all three of them are like, oh, I'm going to train, And I asked my son, are you going to train? He's like, no. So these guys are training. So I've known Kenny Alfonso forever, right? I knew him when he was skinny, didn't have any muscle. He come back from the National Guard. He was in the National Guard, he was just jacked because there was nothing else to do but work out. So long story short, he's gets into wrestling at Journey Pro. And I followed Dak. Dak was, and I said something about Kenny, and it wasn't anything bad. I only talked crap on Campbell Myers. It wasn't anything bad about Kenny. I love the dude. I will support him 100%. And I guess Dak thought I was talking trash, and he blamed me. Well, I see this guy at every Journey Pro show. I'm in the ring, helping out Dak like every month. So I went up to him and I was like, man, Dak, you hated me. He's like, "What are you talking about, Bryan?" I said, "You Twitter." He said, "Did I?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "There was something about Kenny Alfonso." He's like, "Oh." He's like, "I may have had an adult beverage and thought you were talking trash about him." He's like, "I love that kid and I'm going to defend him." I was like, "Yeah, me too." So we just kind of had a laugh about that. And so every time we talk and see each other, we just kind of laugh about that and just start talking and became friends. And so at the CSW show I was running, couldn't make it. She had COVID. So I was running it with him and I was right. And there were times up, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And he's like, "Yeah, Bryan, can you get a picture?" I was like, "You're lucky I like you now." And he just started laughing. And he's like, "You better not tell that story." I'm not. So it was kind of like, best friends or anything. But when we're around each other, we joke around and talk. So it's a lot of fun to play with him.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So you talked a little bit about kind of being an aspiring referee. You're training to be one, going to be one in Journey Pro, or at least training there. This is kind of off the cuff, not even on our rundown of what we're planning to ask you. But so let's just say your first match you're going to referee. Out of our local talent, the plethora that is our local talent, who would you want to referee? What match would be an ideal first match for you?
So in a perfect world, any match that Jeremy Wyatt's in, I think personally, he's the best wrestler in the Midwest. I'm not putting anyone down. I love the wrestlers in Kansas City. I was in St. Louis. So for me, honestly, I would say Jeremy Wyatt and probably Matt Fitchett. I think that would be like my dream indie match to ref. In reality, I'm probably reffing the pre-show match.
Right. Now, I 100% agree with you. Chase and I both are huge Jeremy Wyatt fans. We came into this podcast saying Wyatt was our favorite independent wrestler, and this is our 10th episode, and we have seen way more guys than we have in the last 10 weeks than we have in the last 5-10 years. So we've actually become more familiar with some of the local guys, and Matt Fitchett. I've told Chase, I didn't wear it tonight. I've got a Grindhouse shirt. I think Matt Fitchett's one of the better wrestlers in the area. Same thing with Vega, Grindhouse, Kenny Alfonso. So I think a Wyatt versus Fitchett would be awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So another we talked about Dak. So your post on Twitter as well. I'm gonna go back to it. So Pierre Abernathy, which is also Matt Jackson, correct? Is that the same guy? Okay.
That is correct.
So what's up
with
one
of those names? One of those names is kayfabe. I'm not going to say which one.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know which one, but his Twitter name and his in-ring, yeah, I know. I got you. Anyway, you posted something about a Tokyo Dome. So would you care to elaborate on
kind of a running joke? I'll be honest, that's my joke. That's something that he and Evan Jalistico would joke about on their podcast about how we went Tokyo Dome, and I just kind of went with it on Twitter.
Did you?
I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. I don't know. I listen to a lot of work, and a lot of rest. When they were,
did we lose you, Bryan?
I think they do all their stuff on Patreon now.
Gotcha. Hey, Bryan, you cut out there for a second. What were you talking about? You said something about Patreon, right? I think we got you on that hotel Wi-Fi,
they don't
brother.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, they would joke a bit on their podcasts, but they haven't done their podcast for a while now. I think maybe a year or more. They do all their podcasts through Patreon. That was back in the day when they were joking about that. They probably still are on the Patreon one.
Gotcha. So, I'll tell you what, Brian, I know one of the things that, you and I had talked about is, we could talk professional wrestling for days. Um, you know, and that's kind of what's cool about you being here is, we're kind of getting an aspect, from somebody that's, you know, got a foot in the business and can appreciate the sport of it like we can as a fan. Um, so I don't have any more questions for you, Josh. Did you have another question or?
Nope, that kind of wraps up the interview portion. But are you available to kind of stick around, kind of talk some Anarchy and CSW for the rest of the show?
Absolutely. I will just throw in one thing. You know, when Michael Strider said that everyone's a fan. They start off as a fan. Wrestlers start off as a fan, and that's all it. When I start doing all work for these promotions, I'm doing it for free. I'm not looking for any money. I'm doing it for as a fan, because I want to see wrestling grow in Kansas City. So I go in there and help them set up the ring and help them do this. And I'll tell you what, setting up a ring is not easy. A lot of those ring posts are pretty heavy. Moving that stuff around. But it's well worth it once you see the product and see it go. It's really worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
Fantastic. So what we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to take a 5-minute break. So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Dingo Invitational, the St. Louis Anarchy show. And then we are going to talk about CSW Rise of an Outlaw, break down that card. And Brian's going to stick around and do it with us. So, like I said, we're going to chill out for 5 minutes, and then we will be right back. All right, everybody. We are back from break here. Um, get everybody back in here. You are no longer muted, Josh. So
Welcome back.
again, yeah, absolutely. Welcome back. Love that little presentation you had for us, Josh. That's awesome, man. Uh, So for those that didn't see, got some pretty exciting stuff coming to the I-70 hot tag in the next month. So
Yeah,
Mighty Micah, who Brian had mentioned, Luigi Primo, um, and our guest next week as well, Derek Stone. So
yeah, good
very
stuff
very
coming, man.
exciting.
Good stuff coming. Yeah, man. I wanted to take some time. I don't know if we had some audio issues there with the slideshow. There's supposed to be some music, and I did have a couple written audio commercials for that. But I wanted to kind of touch a little bit on those on our unofficial sponsors. Brian kind of brought up Chris Goff. He's one of four owners of the Peculiar Winery in Peculiar, Missouri. So we just want to give
Yes.
them a little plug for their winery that's virtually in Chase and I's backyard. Chase lives in Peculiar. I live in Raymore, which is only about 6 miles north of them.
We
So
share a school.
yeah, Raymore Peculiar. That's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a school. So I want to give a plug to them as well as a new pizza truck that is in the Kansas City area. It is a professional wrestling themed pizza truck, and the name of that is "You Want a Pizza Me." They sell. It's good stuff. They've been open for a couple weeks now, so they're brand new. They're gonna start. They're based in the Kansas City area. So they're going to be traveling around selling some good pizza in our area, and just want to give them a shout out as well. So check them out. You Want a Pizza Me KC on social media. Give them a follow. It's going to be good stuff.
Absolutely. So, like we talked about, getting kind of back into this thing, we are talking about the St. Louis Anarchy Dingo Invitational. I know we,
Right, you've got it. Good.
yep. Now, I know we talked about breaking down this card. Um, I mean, is this the only card, Josh, that they have? Is it just this invitational?
Yeah, I think it's a 2 night
Okay.
event. Pretty sure they're going to have. They're probably going to go through all matches night one, and then let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle it, but it's 2 nights. And the last match is going to be a triple threat for the Dingo Invitational Tournament. I personally have never seen the Dingo. Have you ever seen it, Brian? Have you seen one of these?
I haven't.
Okay.
I think this is the first one that they're having.
Is
I
it?
believe,
Okay.
don't not gospel, but I think so.
Okay. Yeah, man. So I mean, I don't think there's a lot of matches on this, a lot of good, talented wrestlers here. So I was just kind of thinking maybe we can go through this and do a little predictions. We can maybe each one of us go through, predict who we think is going to advance in the top bracket. You can kind of see here who we've got the matchups. Who's going to advance in the top. Then we got the middle bracket with a couple other guys, Kenny Alfonso, Davey Vega, Billy Starks, and then who's going to advance in the bottom. And then we'll have our finals and we'll predict that as well. So, Chase, you want to kick off? Who do you see in that top bracket? A lot of good wrestlers there, but
Yeah.
who do you see advancing there?
Well, we've got Biff and Jeremy Wyatt. Obviously, I'm not going to take anything away from Biff at all. He's a fantastic talent, but it's Jeremy Wyatt, so there's that. And Gary J, Warhorse, ACH, Kenny Alfonso, Davey Vega, Billy Starks, Camaro Jackson, Derek Neal, Christian Rose, and Matt Fitchett. I think that's all my winners in that first round there. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty close to mine. I know that there was a Thomas Shire and Angelus Lane who I'm gonna take. I think on that one I'm gonna take Thomas Shire to
okay.
take the dub on that one. But as far as like the entire top bracket, so I'm just talking about the first 4 matches to advance all the way to the finals. I'm for that first entry into the finals. I'm taking Gary J, the Gateway Heritage heavyweight champion is going to represent the top bracket, in my opinion. Going to go on. He'll beat Wyatt in the first match, and then to get into the finals, he's going to take on. I'm going to say. I'll say Warhorse. So he beats Warhorse to advance to the finals.
You got Robo Ginger beating Jeremy Wyatt?
I do. Gary
It's a
J.
bold-
Gary J is going to be there as the champion in that final triple threat match, in my opinion.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. What do you think about that, Brian?
That's a tough one. I think I don't know. Not. I don't know if Biff Bustick is known as well around here, but he is one tough dude. So here's my bold prediction, and I'm sure Jeremy's going to kick my ass for this, but I think Biff's got him in the first match. And that's I'm probably going to get my ass beat by more than Jeremy Wyatt. But I think I would go with Biff. Gary J. Mashaslamovich, that's a tough one because I believe they are 1-1 against each other. I think she beat him at the last time they faced off at Journey. I think Gary J. wants his revenge. I'm going to take Gary J. in that one. Thomas Shire hasn't. I haven't seen too much of him lately. Dude is jacked. Got to go with Thomas Shire on that. I love Angel Flame, but I think Shire's going to take that. I mean, Warhorse and Deacon Cash. So Deacon Cash, I've worked with at one of the other promotions a long time ago. Dude is good. He's gonna get a lot of respect, but I just don't think he's gonna take Warhorse. Aaron Williams, ACH, love both of these guys. I got to go with. If you put me on the spot, I'd have to take ACH. Kenny Alfonso, Chip Day. I mean, my son's best friends with Kenny Alfonso. Got to go with him. Billy McNeil, Davey Vega. Davey Vega, again, kicked my butt if I didn't pick him. I got to take him. Tostico, Billy Starks. I think this is going to be an underrated match. A lot of people are going to sleep on this one. I think it's going to be really good. I think Billy's going to take him. Jackson, tag team partners with Kenny, got to take him. And love that dude. Anakin Murphy, Derek Neal. This is a tough. Anakin Murphy's coming up. He's doing really, really good things lately. But Derek Neal, you guys saw him at Strapped. He's just a hoss. I got to take Derek Neal in that one. Christian
Absolutely.
Rose, another friend of mine. Love that dude. Got to take him. And Matt Fitchett in the last one. Love Victor Analog, but Matt Fitch is just on a roll. I think the final 3, though, would be I am also going to go with I think I'm going to go with Gary J. I think he's going to beat Warhorse. So I think it'll be Gary J., Kenny Alfonso, and Matt Fitchett in the final 3.
Nice. Kenny Alfonso, Matt Fitchett, and who else did you say?
Gary J.
Gary J.
And I love all 3 of those dudes. So, I mean, everyone's a winner with that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So your final three: Gary J, Kenny Alfonso, Matt Fitchett. Chase, you want to kind of go through some of these, or do you want to let us know who you have in your final three?
Yeah. I'll give my final three. Um, I'm going. I'm going Wyatt. Um,
There's a
I'm
lot of
going.
good. This is tough. That middle bracket there.
Yeah.
Or middle
So I'm
section.
going.
This bracket's not easy.
No.
Matt Jackson did a really good job on this.
Son of a bitch. Let's go. Let's go Wyatt, Alfonso, and God, it's really hard to pick against Christian Rose. Yep, let's go Christian Rose, Alfonso, Wyatt. Let's do that.
All right. So, my original final three, I changed it up. My original final three were going to be Gary J, Davey Vega, Matt Fitchett. Those were going to be my final three. I think they had a triple threat match. If I, Brian, you may know off the top of your head, maybe. I'm pretty sure they main evented a Circus Maximus event back in 2019, 2018, something like that. Was that correct?
So, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, if that does happen, just because Fitchett and Vega are, a team, so it's going to be basically a handicap match. So I don't think that's going to they're going to do that. So I already said that I think Gary J is going to represent the top section of that bracket. The second, I'm going to go ahead and, as much as I love Kenny Alfonso and I put him over every single time, I am going to go Davey Vega in the middle section. And the bottom bracket, the last entry. Again, as much as I love Matt Fitchett, not going to go with another Grindhouse guy. I'm going to go with Derek Neal advancing. So Gary J, Davey Vega, Derek Neal. They're my final three. So that's the championship match.
So who do we have winning it?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Chase, do you want to go first on that one? On your final? So remind everybody who you have.
I've got Wyatt, Kenny Alfonso, and Christian Rose.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Kenny Alfonso.
Nice. I would absolutely love that. I would
too.
Love if they pushed Alfonso to win this. That would be awesome.
The match that Alfonso and Moonshine had was absolutely amazing.
That was nuts.
And I would love to see St. Louis Anarchy kind of follow in those footsteps.
Agreed. So, Brian, go ahead. Remind us who you have as your final three and who you got as your winner.
So my final three were Gary J, Kenny Alfonso, and Matt Fitchett. I'm going to say, you guys know, I love Kenny Alfonso. I love Gary J, but I think Matt Fitchett is on a roll right now. Grindhouse itself, Fitchett, Vega, and also Anakin Murphy is in Grindhouse. So those guys are going places, doing things. Fitchett's on, I have never seen Fitchett on this level before. So I'm going with Matt Fitchett.
All right. Good pick. Again, I would be just as excited to have him win as it would be Kenny Alfonso.
Yeah, it's be a good match.
Yeah, 100%. So mine's Gary J, I have Davey Vega and Derek Neal as my triple threat match to end it. I'm just gonna go with. Sorry, guys. I'm going with the champ. I'm thinking Gary J is gonna run it. He's gonna win it. And I'm taking Gary J to win the whole thing. So,
Nice.
so he's representing the company, representing the Gateway Heritage. So he's gonna take it all the way, and I'm gonna say there's gonna be some shenanigans. If my prediction happens, Davey Vega is gonna be in there. Matt Fitchett's gonna come out and assist or try to assist, but I think Gary is going to overcome and win the Dingo. So all of us pick different. I like it. That's good stuff.
It's good.
I agree.
I do want to point out before we do anything, Gary J shot me a message on our I-70 asking me to retweet some the Dingo tickets sales. There's still some tickets left. Want to remind everybody to go buy the tickets if you're in the area, and that it starts tomorrow. Took that opportunity to say, hey, you know what? The I-70 hot tag needs a stiff Robo Ginger as a guest one of these days. What do you say? And he said, absolutely. Let me know when. So we may have the Gateway Heritage champion on the show in the near future.
I like it.
He's an awesome dude. Awesome dude.
I'm not sucking up or anything. I really think he's going to win. That was well before I thought I talked to him.
And I don't know if did you guys watch the last St. Louis Anarchy show?
Yep.
Yes.
Vega and Fitchett, they got Gary J, man. So
yep.
Yeah.
If any combination is in there, it's going to be on.
After that crazy match between Gary J and John Wayne Murdoch, where Gary J had the fans throwing chairs in the ring, was awesome. So that does that do it for our St. Louis Anarchy rundown?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the next event, which will be Saturday, will be CSW Central States Wrestling Rise of an Outlaw. And Brian, you and I kind of touched on this the other night. And I'm going to touch on it again. I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling names.
Absolutely.
Like the pay-per-view names, the premium live events. Especially when there's story to them. And I love both styles. Journey Pro has a very unorthodox style of how they name their pay-per-views, which I love. And then, you've got other independent promotions. I'm going to use CSW as an example because we're about to break down a CSW event. So Dak's back. I think that was pretty self-explanatory. It was Dak's return to Kansas City. Dak's return to Kansas City Wrestling. I thought that, that was, pretty, like I said, pretty self-explanatory with that name.
Mm-hmm.
No turning back. You go back and look at that event, and with no turning back, the Premier had to, in that final match, that street fight against the Howlets, the Premier had to make a decision how they wanted to proceed with the rest of their career. That if they went down that road of taking out the Howlets brutally the way they did, that there was no turning back. There was no going back for the Premier after that. Because when you left Hoodie bloody in the ring, there's no going back. And then strapped, again we go back to no turning back with Derek Neal and Moonshine Mantel, and they had the strap match. This event called Rise of an Outlaw we watched Jeremy Wyatt and Mike Outlaw go the time limit, and Jeremy Wyatt literally tapped out as the bell was ringing, and it was over.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that match, it's like Jeremy Wyatt said, if that match would have been 2 more seconds, Mike Outlaw would have won, but he didn't. But we've seen Mike Outlaw and what he's done in the past few months, with CSW, and now we're here, Rise of an Outlaw. So to me,
Right.
my thought process going into this event on Saturday is that we're looking at the next CSW champion in Mike Outlaw, and I'm super excited for this event. I told my wife that as far as Father's Day goes, I just want to go to this event with my son, my youngest son. This will be his first wrestling event, so we're gonna be hanging out and hopefully hopefully get a surprise appearance by Hoodie Howlett, and hopefully get to see a fantastic match between Jeremy Wyatt and Mike Outlaw.
It's going to be a good show. And I know everybody, I've gotten asked by my friends, like, hey, if we come to the show, you're going to tell us who's winning the matches? Like, I don't know who's winning the matches. As a fan, like, I stay away from the production meeting. That's their thing. I don't want to know what's going on in the matches. I want to be just as surprised as you guys. I don't know, what moves are even going to be done. We need you on the outside because they might go out there. Yeah, I'll do that. But you never know. I mean, Rise of an Outlaw, like Michael Strider said, we're all outlaws. Wrestling fans in general, a lot of people look down on wrestling fans. Why? Because we like wrestling. So what? They think we're fake. They think wrestling's fake. It's more real than the movies they're going to see at the AMC theater, right?
Damn right.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, it's going to a time limit draw, and like Jeremy Wyatt's gone to 60-minute time limit draws twice with Gary J. So he's got it. I don't know personally if the name means Mike Outlaw's going to win, but you just never know. Because
of course,
I mean,
like I said, when those names, synonymous meanings the way they do, especially when we had Strider on, Strider talked about telling a story, and that's the fact that all those events have had those names that have told a story, and now we're and now we're at this point. Like I said, I can't, I'm not going to guarantee that Mike Outlaw is going to win, but I think it's I think it's long overdue, and I think we're in for something special on Saturday. So
absolutely,
it's going to be a fantastic match. And I don't know if you saw it I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. Outlaw had a promo, and then Wyatt had a promo. And Wyatt said, I don't want to wait. We're going to do this first. So, I mean, first match of the night.
Yeah.
How awesome is that we're going to see a no time limit first match of the night, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm helping them out and working there, and I'm excited,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And here's another thing, like Rise of an Outlaw doesn't necessarily mean Mike Outlaw. We have a whole other card after that. So who knows
Yeah.
what's going to go on? Roscoe Leach and his shenanigans,
Yeah.
And now that S.K. Bishop and Campbell are with him, you never know what's going to go on.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Jake Durden's he's just a monster. You guys have seen him, so
Yep.
you never know who's going to be the outlaw. I mean, it could be anyone.
so speaking of that weasel Roscoe Leach,
The guy.
Josh told me as soon as he saw that promo, he goes, "My kids have that exact same pool."
I do.
Yeah, when he's not in his wrestling manager mindset, I have talked to Roscoe before and after shows, and he's a decent guy to okay guy. I love
Yeah.
that guy.
Absolutely.
He is one of the best human beings in wrestling.
Yeah.
He does it so well.
He does.
I tell you just a little story. So I became friends with Ben Miller, who's the ring announcer for CSW. At the St. Louis Anarchy show, that when they had the relaunch in 2018, we had the ring set up and everything, and there was kind of a downtime while the wrestlers were going over the match card, what they were going to do. So Ben and I were talking, and we talked for, it had to have been a couple hours. And so, when we got paired together, he was ring announcing, and they're like, "Bryan, you would do timekeeping." I said, "Sure," or I asked them, and they said, "Sure." So I was out there, and Jeremy Wyatt, at one point, there was a woman heckling him. And I think this was like the second show that they had. And she heckled him. And so he heckled back. And they went on for like 2-3 minutes. And Ben looks at me and he's like, "He's just so good at what at doing that." And I was like, "Well, he's kind of an asshole." So yeah, it's Gabe's a good dude.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny because you guys, talking about show names and different promotions and naming the different shows, and then you also talked about Jeremy Wyatt going the distance a couple of times. The last wrestling event that I attended pre-pandemic was 2019 Journey Pro, and their name to that show was Die Hard is a Christmas Movie.
It's a Christmas movie, yes, sir.
And I watched Jeremy Wyatt go the distance with Gary J, and one of the best matches I've ever seen live.
Yeah,
I was in awe. And I did not know, because I had not gone to a local event for a while, and I actually took my uncle that night, and he had never seen. He'd seen it. He loves wrestling, but he's been at it for a while. So I was like, "Hey, man, come, let's go to this local event, Journey Pro." I've been, a couple times before, prior to that, but it's been a while, and he loved it ever since, and he went to every event all the way up until basically it closed because of pandemic. Everything closed, so he got hooked immediately, and that was one of the matches. And I think that match, that event also had didn't it have Jay Fowler and Joey Ryan? I think
Joey Ryan wrestled Niles Plumcake.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I will tell you what, man, and that's also he got hooked. He immediately bought a Jeremy Wyatt shirt, so. We know he can go the distance, and we may have an extremely long match here at Rise of an Outlaw. So I'm really excited. Go ahead.
Wyatt is a real talent, and I tell people all the time, I'm surprised that he is not on TV.
Yeah, Kansas City's best kept secret is Jeremy Wyatt.
Absolutely.
And St. Louis too. I mean, I don't know where he lives, but he's I call him Kansas City. He may live in St. Louis. I don't know.
He's a Kansas City guy.
Okay.
If you ask me, I know about where most of them live, but yeah. He's a Kansas guy. And as much as we all hate to say it, he should be on TV.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he is kind of a jerk.
Yeah. So I I kind of wrote down the card as I knew it. I'm sure I've only got 5 matches here, so I know I'm missing a couple.
I don't think all of them are released yet.
Okay. What is this, Chase?
Well, this is the card.
Okay.
Well,
So I've got. So I missed the premiere match. That's the one that I didn't have on the rundown. Wait.
I'll tell you what. We can actually do this. I can actually do the web page
I
instead of. I copied it and put it on a thing, but here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, and we'll zoom in on this page, so that way everybody can see it. All right. Hey, there we go. There we go. All right. Ignore the part where it says strapped. We were able to change the ice pick part, but we weren't able to change the strapped part. But for those who don't know, the Camelot Ballroom is in Overland Park, Kansas. The doors will open at 6 p.m. with a 7:05 bell time, as usual. We're gonna start from the bottom and go up, because I know we mentioned that that the main event, the championship match is going to start out the event. But let's go from the bottom here, and then also, if you guys don't know, there is a Stang and Levitt, and I don't know how to pronounce those other names, but they're criminal defense attorneys, and they sponsor Central States Wrestling, and so does Warriors Academy KC. So just want to throw that out there for those guys.
And just real
The
quick,
Beer
to
City
say,
Bruiser. Sorry, what was that?
real quick, I just wanted to say, Warriors Academy is kind of is one of the Howlett's friends, works there, Foz.
Yeah.
And Froz.
Azab, yeah, Frost.
Yeah, Froz. And Warriors Academy is it's freaking awesome. Saying if anyone in Kansas wants to check it out, that's a really cool place.
Yep. So if a guy like myself or Josh, who is both of us who are out of shape, one is out of shape more than the other, but I'll let you guys figure that out. I won't spoil it for you. But if one of us wants to get into shape, we could always hit up Warriors Academy KC and go hit those guys up. So the Beer City Bruiser versus Niles Planquet, who I found out from Brian the other night when you and I were talking that Niles actually his family owns a winery up here by me in St. Joe, Missouri.
Yes, sir, they do. I'm not sure exactly what city it is. I know you looked it up.
Yep, it's right in between. It's right in between St. Joe and Stewartsville.
Yes,
I do remember that. So, and Stewartsville is like 20 minutes from here.
The Wendy Winery, and I will always because Niles Planquet, as much as he's been, kind of a jerk to some other people because they probably deserved it. Let's be honest. He's always been nice to me, so I will put him over as much as I can, as well as Chris Goff and the Peculiar Winery. So, sir.
I'm glad to say that. I'm glad we've always debated because we've seen his name pronounced Planquet, and we've also seen it pronounced Planck. It is Planquet, correct?
I have always heard it, said it, and Planquet.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's how it is on his birth certificate.
Yeah, that's how I've always. That's how I was introduced to him back in the NWL days. So that's just kind of how I've pronounced it. I saw a couple people post, promos against him, calling him Planck. So I didn't know.
Well, there's just the guys that are trying to get under his skin.
Right.
Absolutely. Um, and then the next match, Jason Strife versus the big strong boy Ethan Price,
Yes.
who we've seen a couple times, and I've definitely he's the big strong boy has definitely grown on me. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's pretty
Jason
good.
Strife is. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh no, I was just going to say that, Ethan Price he's good. He's young, but he's got it going for him. Jason Strife, however, love that guy. He's been a staple at Journey Pro, and now he's coming into CSW, which I'm glad to see him more in KC because he's a busy dude. Not only does he wrestle, he actually owns Magnum Pro Wrestling in Omaha. So I mean, it's a good promotion up there. It's probably one of their top. It's their top promotion up there. I would highly recommend it if anyone's in that area to go. But yeah, that's going to be a tough match, man. Because you guys have seen Ethan Page, or Ethan Price. He's not a weak guy. He
he's a
can
big
pick some
strong
people up
boy.
and throw them around.
He is a big, strong boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I was gonna say I was very, I have seen Jason Strife multiple times in Journey Pro, and it was good to see him come back. Last month at their last event. So when they announced him for CSW, I was super excited. It sucks. Chase is gonna go to this event with his, hopefully with his son, but I am not gonna be in attendance, so I'm gonna miss this entire event, unfortunately. But Chase is gonna represent our show and going to witness this fantastic event.
absolutely.
Yeah, me and Demetrius, my son, who is 10 years old, will be representing the I-70 hot tag at CSW since Josh chickened out. It's all right.
As Peter said, look when you're young, right?
Yep, that's right. Hook them when they're young. So, the next match we have on here is Anaya Howlett with Froz against Moonshine Mantel with his gremlin Greg Jovi. Greg's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he really.
For kayfabe reasons.
When he's outside of wrestling, I love that dude. He is one of the most genuine guys.
Absolutely. He was a guest on the I-70 hot tag, and we always leave it up to the wrestlers if they want to do the interviews in character, if they want to do them out of character. It's completely up to them. And I was extremely shocked that Jovi did it out of character.
Yeah.
He had a couple of lines that were sort of in character, but for the most part, he did the whole thing out of character, which was very awesome. So,
and for those who didn't really know, he ran a company called PWCS. Ran in same place that Anarchy did. They used the same ring. It's Spalding Hall in Alton, Illinois. It was an awesome promotion, awesome concept. He's a really good dude.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll tell you what. There's another one that when I'm in the crowd, I'm not gonna let him know that I support him. But Moonshine Mantel has grown on me immensely. I like him, but for this match, it's the Howlets for me. So
absolutely. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here, right?
Yep. Yep.
And again, I'm probably going to get beat up by Moonshine on Saturday, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. So we've actually, Brian, since you mentioned that, we have actually talked about, or we have reached out to Moonshine to get him on the I-70 hot tag. We are still working on that, and there is going to come a time, when the I-70 hot tag is going to start doing, like tonight we broke 50 followers on Twitch. That is going to lead down the road to other things that the I-70 hot tag is going to do. And eventually later down the road, I would like to do some sort of giveaway or some sort of thing where, if we reach a certain number, we reach a certain donation, whatever the case is, I take a chop bare chested from Moonshine Mantel.
Yes, I've heard this I've heard this, yes. I will just say, I'll be honest, I wouldn't take a chop from, I wouldn't take a chop from, anyone. And you're wanting to take a chop from Moonshine. I mean, if you want to do that, I just hope you have insurance, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Heard that. Well,
I've seen after pictures of this. Rex Amadeus was chopped when he was, I believe it was before he was training. And I mean, one chop, you've seen Daniel Bryan chop guys on AEW and it looks like hamburger meat. One chop from Moonshine and poor Rex, man. I mean, I felt so bad for the guy.
Well, we have told people, and Josh and I have talked, it's got to be something big.
Oh, yeah.
It can't just be like, like I said, we crossed 50 followers on Twitch. It can't be something like, that. It's got to be something.
Right.
It's got to be something worthwhile. If I'm going to expose my bare chest and let Moonshine give me a chop, then it's got to be something that is exciting. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, you do that, and that's yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Might have to take a couple of weeks off of the I-70 hot tag after that.
I might have to fill in for you. So
right?
Yeah,
gotta fill in.
He might have you sign a waiver. I don't know, but I tell you what, personally, I'd have to gain about 40, 50 pounds before I would even think about taking a chop from Moonshine.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, I've got an extra 40 or 50 pounds you can have.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, that might be the only thing that saves me when if or when I take this chop. So
yeah, I'm sure, man. I'll just make sure that I'm there, and I will make sure that we have paramedics there.
I appreciate that.
I'm telling you, it's no joke, and I'm not even a wrestler who's taken one.
Yeah,
but I've seen it, and there's. If you want to give away something, that's what you give away. Chop from Moonshine. That's like top tier stuff here.
Yeah. So moving on the card of Rise of an Outlaw. Speaking of horrible human beings, we have the world's most dangerous tag team as their build, the Premier, S.K. Bishop and Campbell Myers, with the used car salesman himself, Roscoe Leach, versus Brixton Nash and James McGregor. So the P-Boys against Nash and McGregor. I think this will, like I said, I think the Premier is on a hell of a run right now in CSW, and however, everybody's favorite Gil Rogers, who's not a favorite of mine, and the reason why is because Gil Rogers suspended Hoodie Howlett for bumping an official. Not a big deal. At least to me, it wasn't. But I don't know, man. If it was up to me, I'd hold the door open for Hoodie if he wanted to come in, and hell, I'd buy Hoodie a ticket if Hoodie wants to come sit in the crowd and watch this match firsthand. So,
you know what? Honestly, I'd buy Hoodie a ticket and a bottle of whiskey, but it's just not. I love Hoodie like everyone else does, but rules are rules. Like Strider said, you can't really.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Say if we'll say since he's kind of a jerk, if Campbell Myers did that, they suspended Campbell Myers, we'd all be happy about it, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Makes sense.
That being said, I give Campbell Myers a lot of crap, but I do like that dude.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be fun to see the P Boys perform
Yeah.
at a high
As
level.
much as I'd like them to lose, I just don't know if it's going to happen. Because, like you, Chase, they're on a roll. You
Yep.
said it.
Yeah.
They're on a tear right now. So,
Yep.
and shout out to I know we haven't talked too much because I know there were some other people. Obviously last week Josh and I went to AEW Dynamite, and then AEW Dynamite in St. Louis last night. We Josh and I ran a show after Dynamite. We always do an AEW post Dynamite show every week on Wednesdays, and we talked about the local independent wrestlers that were there.
Awesome. So
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah. Anaya Howlett was there. Niles Planquet was there. In St. Louis, obviously, there were others that were there in Kansas City as well. But
I was looking at that picture that they took with Mark Sterling, and of the 20
security guards.
Yeah,
the 20 wrestlers. Okay.
I knew, or everybody knows a lot of them, right? I knew like 17, 18 of them. I'm like, yeah, I know that's. I'm listing them off.
Yep.
And
Josh,
our friend Rex Amadeus was one of them as well. He was,
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a first TV time for him, but that's great. And he's been doing the pre-show matches at CSW, so if people want to come out and see him, he's doing well. He's doing good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He actually, sorry, side note, he wrestled with Jake Durden. And for anyone who doesn't know who Jake Durden is, like 6'7", huge dude.
Absolutely.
I
was giving Mr. Rex a lot of shit for being a Darth Maul fan at the last event, but I happen to be a Darth Maul fan myself. Just don't know if I go so far to put him on the side of my tights.
Hey, you know what? You do what you like, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And
Chase, if you're gonna wear tights, you put whatever the hell you want on the side of them.
You're damn right I would.
If you're a professional wrestler and you like something, why not put it on your tights?
I mean,
you got to be different, right? You don't want to be the same as every other guy and have like a lightning bolt on there or whatever,
Yep, absolutely. This match was booked to happen last month at Strapped. And then, obviously some change-a-roos, but we're going to get it this month after some change-a-roos. Dak Draper versus the Ice Pick Vic Capri.
Yep.
So,
and referring back to our, we've said it multiple times with referring back to our Strider interview. Strider had a lot of good things to say about Vic Capri. Basically, if you want to make it in Kansas City, you got to go through Vic Capri first, and so that's very high praise from a very well respected member of our wrestling community. So, I'm still bummed out that we're not going to get the initial match that was initially, which was Dak Draper against.
Davey Richards.
American Wolf, Davey Richards, yeah. So, because we've seen him multiple times in Glory Pro, and we know what he can do, and that match I was super excited to see, but for whatever reason, can't happen. But this match, again, good replacement. So you're gonna see a hell of a match there.
It's gonna be really good, and just to point out, Davey Richards obviously had something happen, but he'll be back. He'll come back, and I'm sure we'll have that match in the future. But yeah, this is a match that a lot of people look at, but you don't really want to sleep on this match because you guys.
No, absolutely not.
Dak Draper, Vic Capri, I've seen a couple of times in CSW.
Yep.
Met him.
He wrestled Mike Outlaw at No Turning Back.
Yes, he did. And
Yep.
I've seen his other stuff online, and he's no joke. He's good. I think he's up there. He's top tier. I mean, so, but then you look at Mile High Magnum, Dak Draper, and like dude wrestled in NXT. Uh, this is going to be a hell of a match. It's really going to be good.
Absolutely. And then we have our main event, which will kick off the show. The no time limit match for the CSW DWF Championship. The Monarch Jeremy Wyatt versus Mike Outlaw.
Yep. Not much more you can say. It's gonna be a hell of a match. If they start that event off like they did last month, remember when they started off with the Grindhouse against the Howlets? We were surprised that was the first match. If they start that off the night, and that's the tempo they're gonna go with the night, I mean, great choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's crazy is to see the match and the way they went last time. I mean, we may not get out of there until 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, you're right.
Talk about getting money's worth, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I tell you what, boys. Let's do a prediction. Let's do we want to predict the whole card, or do we want to do predictions for just the main event?
I mean, it's up to you. I think we can predict the main event. That's cool.
We can do whatever you guys want.
Brian, who do you got in this match?
So I'm really torn on Wyatt and Outlaw because Wyatt's. If you were to say they're St. Louis Anarchy and St. Louis in general has said, who is the 4 pillars of St. Louis, they can easily list them off. If you say that in Kansas City, the first person that everybody is going to say is Jeremy Wyatt. And he is no joke. He should be on TV. I'm surprised he's not. Mike Outlaw is fantastic. This dude wrestles everyone. He's going to be wrestling Camaro Jackson here pretty soon. I think next month, if I'm not mistaken. And he's on the rise. The dude's good. Crowd loves him. Taking into the name of the event. This one's kind of, to me, is more of a toss-up. Everyone sees the name and says, "Oh, Outlaw will win," but you can't really count out Jeremy Wyatt. So, on a coin flip earlier today, I was saying Jeremy Wyatt. I think he's going to retain.
Yeah. And, I came in on the fence as well. I was kind of more leaning toward Outlaw going in before the podcast. Hearing your reasoning that, anybody could be be the Outlaw in the name of this show. But, it's been 3 months. They've built this up for 3 months now. This is the third event. They should have fought at No Turning Back with Wyatt having that emergency. But again, it is a toss-up, I think. But I think I'm going to go with my gut, and I think Mike Outlaw is going to walk out with the title. As much as I love Wyatt, I think Outlaw is going to take it.
I like it, gentlemen. I will tell you what. There is not a shadow of a doubt in my mind what Rise of an Outlaw is talking about, because it's Mike Outlaw. Of course, I'm not knocking your statement, Brian. I am simply saying that the writing is on the wall. It's not just written on the wall; it's written on the fucking banner. Mike Outlaw will walk in on Saturday. He'll start off the show. Him and Jeremy Wyatt will tear the house down. and I feel absolutely positively sorry for the 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 other gentlemen that have to follow this match. Um, but Mike Outlaw walks in. Him and Jeremy Wyatt tear the house down. Jeremy Wyatt lays on his back and takes the 1, 2, 3. Mike Outlaw walks out as the new DWF champion. And the next time we see Mike Outlaw, it'll be. I think it'll look different. I think he'll be having a CSW championship.
You know what? I and 100% hope that is true, but I don't know. My gut just says it's hard to beat.
Yep, I agree, man. When you're used to seeing that jerk, the Monarch Jeremy Wyatt, run amok in the Midwest, it's hard to convince yourself otherwise. But like I said, I feel like the writing is on the wall this time.
I am hoping that you're right.
I agree. So that does it for our breakdown of CSW, Rise of an Outlaw.
Absolutely.
I did want to, I did want to do something really quick. Josh and I have done this on here before, but this is always fun to me. There's there's Travis Tyler, NXT hopeful with WWE superstar now Baron Corbin, and we know Travis Tyler as the Mile High Magnum Dak Draper. So
Yep.
I
believe he changed his name a couple of times. He was wrestling in Colorado at Rocky Mountain Pro as Sammy Six Guns.
Yeah.
Sammy Six Guns. That's funny. So
Dude,
those that hairdo just does it for me, man.
Yeah, you gotta love the dude, right?
Yep.
So, hey, Brian, before we kind of wrap this thing up, you want to tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
Yes. Honestly, I am not a big social media guy. I don't have Facebook. The only thing I do have is Twitter. So B_Scheck, SESCHEK.
EK. I spelled it wrong. Sorry, guys.
If anyone wants to follow me, I'd rather them follow the people my friends. I'd rather them follow Journey Pro KC, follow CSW, follow you guys, the I-70 hot tag. I love you guys. You've been great to me. Love listening to your podcast. Follow all of the indie pro wrestlers in Kansas City, St. Louis, Omaha. I'm just a big fan of those guys, and I'd rather put those guys over than me because, I'm as a referee. When I'm going to be a referee, it's not about me. It's about the wrestlers. It's about the fans. I want them to have a good time, have a good show. So follow any of those promotions. There's like 6 or 7 promotions in St. Louis, 3 in Kansas City. Just follow those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, last we started this with Ryan the Infinite, but we want to close out interviews with saying, this is Brian, you do your full name, and you're watching the I-70 hot tag.
This is Brian J. You're watching the I-70 hot tag. Follow these guys. Tweet at these guys. They're awesome.
Appreciate that, Brian.
Man.
Yeah. And now, the only other thing we got left. So, as we talked about the Dingo Invitational, June 17th and June 18th, So tomorrow night and Saturday, the 2-night event. June 18th, CSW Rise of an Outlaw. June 24th, Journey Pro presents Free Your Mind. Tickets are on sale on June 10th. And then June 25th, WLW presents Shut Up and Wrestle Tour at the North Kansas City Community Center. Kenny Alfonso versus Raheem De La Suede. I hope I said that name right. I hope I didn't butcher that.
It's going to be
And
an
then
awesome.
also,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Also, further down the highway, CCW Cape Championship Wrestling presents the Super Show. They're going to have Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux will be in action on that event. That's going to be super exciting.
show.
Next week on the I-70 Hot Tag, we're extremely excited about next week's show. Since the day we booked him, next week we're going to have a very big special guest. He's a Kansas City wrestling legend, a World League wrestling veteran. He's wrestled in multiple matches in the WWF in the mid 90s, and we'll see him next Saturday as WLW's Shut Up and Wrestle Tour rolls through Kansas City, like we talked about. Next week, we're going to sit down with none other than Derek Stone. So extremely excited about that as well. Guys, we plugged Bryan. We talked about your social medias. Josh, again, please remind everybody where they can find you in the I-70 Hot Tag on social media as well.
The Real Josh Elliott. We're on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow the I-70 Hot Tag on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Go give us a follow on all of those platforms. Again, hit the notification bell on all those, and don't miss any of the action. So appreciate you guys tuning in. It was Bryan. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your night and joining us on this on the podcast and all the kind words.
I appreciate you guys having me anytime you need.
Absolutely. And again, I want to give a special shout out to our guys that made the 50 followers on Twitch possible. That was super awesome for you guys to come through. Dragon Dad 13, who was officially the 50th, and then the Gare Bear, and then Black Dog 678. Appreciate you guys coming through on Twitch. And then, as always, you cannot just find me on Twitch. You can find me on various other social medias. The tag is the same. It's at CR Media 1988. As usual, guys, fantastic show. Appreciate you guys coming through. Appreciate you guys joining us. Bryan, appreciate you sitting down with us, talking about what we love to talk about, and that's professional wrestling. Bryan, I am going to see you Saturday. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to close this out, guys. As usual, my name is Chase, for our guest Bryan and my co-host, the real Josh Elliott. This has been the I-70 Hot Tag, and good fight and good night.